Welcome back to the Barry Charles Footy Show, your one-stop shop for everything rugby league. How are we doing out there? Hope you're having a great day out there. Let's talk footy. Yes, TPJ retires for boxing. We'll see how long that lasts. I think he'll be returning to rugby league very shortly. Tim Sheens is gone skis, according to media reports, with Benji Marshall to take over next season. But he was already in charge already anyway, so there's no real shock there, folks. Maire Martin is believed to be ready to make a return next week. Does he come straight back into the team? Does he go for New South Wales Cup? Or does he get left out completely? That's the question for you Warriors fans out there. Can the Panthers be beaten? I'll discuss this. And obviously the Pacific Cup has just been announced. Good to see some games in Port Moresby, but there could have been a game or two in Samoa, would have been good. But that's just the way it is. And be interesting to see how this plays out in the future. Good to see finals in New Zealand. It's good to see it. But anyway, and also we're going to preview the games of this round. Let's get it on here at the Barry Charles Footy Show. Remember to like and subscribe if you liked the video. Let's get to it. Yes, TPJ has decided to retire at the end of the season and go on a boxing career. Don't get me wrong, he's no Anthony Mundine. I don't know how long this is going to last. We'll see how it works out, but I don't see him being a world champion anyway. So I'd expect that he'll be back in rugby league, if not at the start of the year or somewhere during the season. I think he'll get itchy feet and want to come back. So who would sign Tevita Pangai Jr.? To me, if it was me, I wouldn't sign him, honestly. Every coach has tried to get the best out of him, even though he went to Penrith and got a title, so there you go. He'll be thankful for that. He went to the Panthers and got a title, so he's done what he needs to do in his career, a short-term goal. But over a whole season, he's never proved to be a star player, and that's the problem. People are saying, yes, take him to a strong club. Well, Jesse Bromwich has gone, given a big thing to the Dolphins, but he wouldn't be able to save Tevita Pangai Jr. The only clubs that I could see that he could work in is Penrith, of course. Penrith would be the number one. I think the Warriors could be somewhere he could potentially play better footy if he believes in Andrew Webster. But outside of those two, I don't think he'll fit in anywhere, to be honest. He needs a coach that tells it how it is, gets it done. Maybe the Titans, but I can't see him going near either. And obviously, Wayne Bennett maybe might think he can get the best out of him, but I think even if he comes back to the NRL, I just don't see it. Even though he's got all the talent in the world to be one of the best players in the game. But just like Josh Schuster doesn't put it out every week. Timmy Sheens, yes, Timmy Sheens, is he gone? Out the door? Well, that's what the reports are saying. Might have more confirmation later tonight, but Benji looks set to take over in 2024, a year early, but he was already coaching the team now. So don't get it miscued. Benji was coaching the team already. So the way that they're playing this season is what they're going to be playing like next year. Tim Sheens was just over the top, just making sure everything was okay and taking the hits. But Benji was running the show. Don't get it twisted. He was running the show, no doubt about it. Going to be an interesting call because see how Benji plays, because he's playing he wants to play the sort of football that could be exciting if you can get the right players there. But why would you let Dane Laurie go if you want to play that sort of football? Because he plays that up tempo footy that is needed, but he's going. So now they're left with Dewey and they've got no Brooks. What's doing? Yet to come out with a signing yet. So who is going to be the halfback is another question for all you Tigers fans. You must be scratching your head. What's happening there? The club has pretty much been a basket case for a long time. Can they get something going? I'm not sure. We'll see if Benji Marshall is made of the steel to be the right coach to get it done, because we've seen a lot of people being spit out of the coaching ranks after a couple of years after trying their best to make it. So it's an interesting thing for Benji. No doubt he had the talent on the player, but can he get it out of all the players? To me, everyone's saying yes, Wayne Bennett's the best coach. around, and you could probably say yes, he's won it at a few different titles. But to me, over proven records so far, Bellamy is still the best for mine. Bellamy is the best because he gets into the finals every year. That's the thing. He gets in there pretty much every year. He's just unbelievable. This guy, that it doesn't matter what the team is, he continues to get them into the final. He is an outstanding coach. I know interesting that maybe at finals time sometimes it goes a bit hayward. Is Ivan Cleary pushing his way up to the list if he can get another one here and make it a three-peat? So it's interesting because before you would have said he was a bit of a flop before he started winning these premierships. So interesting times ahead. But yes, it's gonna. But to me, big interesting times ahead for the Tigers. Maire Martin, yes. He was talking on radio that he is going to be back next week, whether that's playing New South Wales Cup or a chance to play for the Warriors. Is he going to be in the 17 going forward? There's a lot of debate about this, but why would you change a winning team? Absolutely, carving up, doing great stuff. I can't see him pushing into the starting side. Will he go to 14? But then who are you going to leave out? This is the question mark they're going to have. If you put Maire Martin at 14, then who's going to miss out? Is Dylan Walker going to miss out or Jazz Tavaga? Probably Jazz. Is that the way you're going to do it? You're going to have all three of them on the bench with then another player, either Curran or Sirenen on the bench. Is that how you're going to go and leave Adam Whanua playing most of the minutes? It's going to be an interesting time ahead for Maire Martin. It's either going to be a bad headache or a great headache. Some people say just put him straight back into 6 because of his experience, but it's a big position to play 6 when you haven't played for quite a long time. I wouldn't be changing the team, in my opinion. I think he can wait in the wings, and if the injury comes along, put him in. I mean, there's no problem having him in the team, don't get me wrong. He could go straight back into 6 as well. But I wouldn't be changing a winning formula for mine. In my opinion, doesn't mean he won't be playing a role in the final series. We will find out clearly. How do the Panthers get beaten? Yes, the Penny Panthers. How does this team get beat? And I'm telling you now, it's going to be razzle-dazzle. And the Broncos already done it in the round 1. Got it done. Maybe not necessarily razzle-dazzle, but they're more razzle-dazzle now. They're a team that do it. The Warriors, Andrew Webster will know every little inconsistencies of this Penrith team. And I think they're a danger. The Penrith, I don't know if Penrith want to play Warriors in round 1. I'll tell you that much. Because the Warriors could find a game plan to knock Penrith off their leash. It's been done before. It's going to be an interesting game here between Penrith and Broncos. Who's going to get their top spot? Because I don't think anyone wants to be playing the Warriors right now. People are probably saying yes, they do because they're not getting it done. I've just got a funny feeling the Warriors are getting ready to go boom. They're not playing exciting footy. Let's get that right with the Warriors. They're playing very much controlled footy, even when they're down the top. I mean, they're playing very controlled footy, using their speed out wide to get the tries. It's going to be an interesting one. The Storm have the spine to win the comp, but I just don't see their forward pack being strong enough against the big teams. I think you're down to 3 in my opinion, as I has been saying all along. Penrith, Broncos, Warriors. If one of those 3 in the grand final, I'll be. If one of those 2 teams aren't in the grand final, I'd be shocked because I think that's what's going to be happening there. Storm potentially. I don't see the Knights doing it. From the bottom half, the only team I can see actually going on a run is the Rabbitohs, but they are not playing good enough football. They're going to have to win against the Knights on this weekend to really start proving that they are a premiership threat. Because if they lose to the Knights, they won't be winning. And they probably won't be winning anyway. But they got some issues in their departments at the moment. Cody Walker has gone missing of late. And Latrell Mitchell hasn't come back firing as expected. Now, the Pacific Cup. Yes, the Pacific Cup is coming to you. Great to see some games in Port Moresby, and more than just one game, like a token game in the Prime Minister's competition. They actually got 2 or 3 games here, so it's very good to see. Port Moresby get some game time there with the women's as well going there as well, so there's going to be quite a few games there. Exciting times. So it's an interesting thing with the NRL, with the competition coming up. There's 17 teams in the comp right now. I think they're looking at 3 more. I honestly think they're looking at 3 more. And you could argue there's 5 in the running. But let's say if you were logistically looking just at 3, I think they're going to have a team in Port Moresby. Whether it's the Keens, I'm not sure. Darwin, they're going to have a team in Port Moresby. I think that's coming. I think Perth is the other one, as you clearly see with the Origin. They keep pushing that. And now there's a debate. There could be another Queensland team to make it 4 in that region. Or, to me, where it should be is another New Zealand team, either in Wellington or Canterbury. One of those two, I think it's time for another NRL team there. I think you're going to end up with 20 in the comp, and they're going to split it up 10 and 10. But like the basketball, or the same in the NFL, where you play in your own competition, boom, boom. Then you play a final in that competition, then have a big grand final at the end. I think that's the road we're heading down. So you probably have a Sydney comp. Or it's going to be interesting if they're just going to do just the Sydney comp and anyone else travels. Because then you would say there's a guaranteed Sydney team there. It's going to be a tough one. I don't know if they change it every year. If they go down that format and you're just going to have the same team playing the same 10 every year, that means that it's going to be interesting because obviously in the current system, any team can win any year. But if you put into this competition, if you got 10 on this side, so the 10 that are in their own pool will never play each other if you continue to do it every year like that. So that's in the grand final, in the big grand final, like a Super Bowl game. So is that where the NRL is heading? I've got a funny feeling now if they're going to Las Vegas. I think the writing's on the wall. And it could be quicker than what you think if they can get to 20 teams. Whether the talent pool's there, I doubt the talent pool. I don't think the talent pool's there now. As you can see in the NRL now, it's struggling a bit. But is that because all the older players that go to Super League too early maybe should be staying here? There's so many players there that could be still playing NRL, so maybe they'll start staying longer if they're getting a little bit more of a pay rise. But clearly, some of these guns can get paid nearly $1 million to go over there, and they're only going to get 200,000 here. So that's the question mark they have. Well, that's probably never going to stop that going. Well, let's get to the footy on the weekend. Yes, who's going to do it here? Thursday night football. The Cowboys and the Sharkies. A big game. This was the game that really got the competition up and rocking. Yes, with the Cowboys beating the Sharks. Yes, the Cowboys absolutely smashed the Sharks. And well, not smash, was a high-scoring game in the top 4, but they were too good. And can they do it again? Jeremiah Nanai is back. So exciting times there. The Sharkies have really found form. Cowboys have been out of form. Can they bounce back? It's a very much a coin flip game, this one, folks. Very much a coin flip. Well, Cowboys need more than the Sharks. But the Sharks win here. Pretty much they're playing finals football. So the Sharks can put away a finals place pretty much with the victory. But the Cowboys have to win. They really have to win because it's going to be a long road here to try, and they have to beat Penrith in the final round to make it. Big problems for the Cowboys if they don't win this game. So I'm going to Cowboys by 6, but it's very much up in the air this game. Warriors Manly. Well, everybody's waiting for the Warriors to go boom. Well, can they do it at Daniel Anderson Stadium on Friday night? I'm not convinced the Warriors are that team that really can go boom. Because they've had chances and they haven't really gone on with it. Just the way Sean Johnson's playing, he's playing very controlled. Very up to maybe Luke Metcalf, but Luke Metcalf makes a few mistakes in their play, see. The Warriors, probably the big thing for Warriors fans is they've just got to get those little forward passes and those little silly drop balls out of their game. If they really want to be winning the competition this year, they really need to get that going. Manly are a danger team. Warriors don't seem to do well against Manly, but if the Warriors can't win this, they won't be winning the competition either. So the Warriors need to be winning. Manly will give a good fight, I think, but I'll go the Warriors by 12. Jack Arthur could start. This talking to Schuster might get a second row. We'll see if that happens. But yeah, the Warriors should win, but no guarantee. The Eels and the Roosters, yes. Well, this is probably one of the games of the round. The loser is saying bye-bye to the competition. That's pretty much it. Simple as this. If you lose this game, you're pretty much gone. That's just the way the draws are happening for these two teams. You lose this, you're gone. Eels on the upper hand of Micah Seaver and Regan Campbell-Gillard back, but they lost big time on Mitchell Moses. And the pressure is on Arcee and Dylan Brown to perform to get this one done. To me, and the Roosters haven't been convincing. Is Sam Walker a chance of playing? We will find out. Roosters have not beaten anyone decent in the last few rounds. This is an interesting game. I'm going to tip the Roosters, but again, this is another coin flip game. The Roosters should win without without Moses there, but they're not being convincing. But the Roosters might get a gritty win, 6 points here. The West Tigers Dolphins. Don't say the Dolphins can't win. They will have Lemuelu, Tabuai Fidow, Marshall King, Kenny Bromwich, Ray Stone, and the list goes on and on and on. Ewan Aiken returns and a few others. But the Dolphins, if you're going on probably on their season, the Dolphins can easily win this game. Tigers, this is their last hurrah. They need to put a bit of spice in the wooden spoon ranks here. A must-win game for the Tigers if they want to not get the wooden spoon. They have to win them all from here. Can Benji light them up here? And I'm going to go to Tigers to finally get a victory. Again, this is every game this round just about is a coin flip. There is probably a couple games not, but yeah, it's going to be very interesting this round of football. How this is all going to play out. Let's go to Titans. Yes, the Titans and the Panthers. And the game that could decide it all. Panthers here, not resting players, so they must be a little bit scared of the Titans. The Panthers want to be winning this game and strolling through. And I honestly can't see anything else but a Panthers victory. 18 points to the Panthers. They look in cruise control. Dragons Storm. Dragons haven't been playing too bad. Zach Lomax is back and Francis Molo. The Storm are due for a bad game. This is going to happen. I don't think so. The Storm is hitting the form at the right time. And Pappenhausen, shorter return. Storm should be winning 18 points for me, the Storm. Knights and the Rabbitohs. This is the game of the round, folks. Yes, for me, this is the game of the round because the Knights are on fire and the Rabbitohs are spluttering. Rabbitohs want to make a statement. This is the game to make that statement. Yes, Cody Walker, Latrell Mitchell, Damien Cook, Lachlan Ilias, they all need to step up because Kalen Ponga and Jackson Hastings is on fire. Jackson Hastings was doing the biggest Hollywood of his career when he was down injured to Jacob Preston. Nothing wrong with his ankle. It was all scuttlebutt. So, yeah, this is a big game. Big game. I keep tipping the Rabbitohs, expecting them to get it done. But this is really... The Knights are the informed team with the Warriors. We're really Knights are the informed team of the comp at the moment. But, yes, to me, I'm going the Rabbitohs by 6. I think the Rabbitohs could win by more, but I think Rabbitohs are about to make a statement. And they have to start now. Because a loss now, they're really riding the tightrope of making the finals. They should still make it. But they're right in the tightrope. If a few upsets happen later, they could be right out the back door. And speaking about right out the back door, the Raiders will have to win. If they lose this game, their season is done with 2 rounds to go because they're falling against us so bad. They have to beat the Bulldogs and then hope for results to maybe, if they lose the next 2, to make finals. I don't see that happen. There's a slim chance, there's a possibility, and that's probably relying on the Knights losing this weekend for them to sneak into 8th spot in front of the Knights. They only get 1 more win out of the final 3 rounds. That's what the Raiders would be hoping for, to sneak through to finals football. But the Raiders have to win, and they need to win by 50 against the Bulldogs. Put it this way, they have to win by 50. Will they win by 50? Not the way they're defending, but they need to come out and have a big game. I'm going to tip Raiders by 50. Whether that actually happens, who knows. But anyway, that's the Barry Charles Footy Show. There's a bit of a recap of what's happening around the footy at the moment. I hope you liked the video. Remember to like and subscribe to the channel, and we'll be back with another video shortly.